Okay, so let us continue. So we have already started with the discussion on the empiric, which is considered as for observation, then for supportive, it is sustained, then palliative, we are cut with the number 4, which is the maintenance. This is the most common uh, term that are being used in the pharmacotherapeutics simply because when we talk about the maintenance, our objective is to consider a lifetime treatment. Should we say a lifetime treatment or a long-term treatment for those who may be diagnosed with the chronic conditions that that cannot be resolved. Unlike for the supportive, there are there are conditions that can be resolved eventually because it will just sustain, it will just control if it is already controlled. But for the maintenance, these are situations wherein situations of individuals are not controlled. Example, hypertension. For those who may have chronic hypertension, individuals could definitely be prescribed with drugs until his or her lifetime. Another for patients with diabetes, which is uncontrolled, so patient may have the continuous administration of insulin or oral hypoglycemics because eventually the condition is uncontrolled blood sugar. So these are maintenance. It's the primary treatment already to control the chronic illnesses or conditions. Another is we have supplemental. If we say supplemental, these are drugs that will replenish or substitute. Example, um, substitute. Kasi for example, ang patient mo is experiencing dehydration. So the patient will have the hydrate. Okay? So it is to replenish, to replenish the fluid losses, specifically with the possibility of the prevention of severe dehydration. Multivitamins are also considered as supplemental because that's why even the FDA is advertising it as no approved therapeutic claims because again, the supplemental drugs may not treat conditions. So it could prevent situations of leading to situations such as dehydration or problem with the fatigability if patients are taking the um if patients are taking what you call this multivitamins. For example, for pregnant mothers, right? For pregnant mothers, the patient may take the folic acid and vitamin B for prevention of complications. In that way, this will facilitate specifically the perspective that the supplemental conditions will support the one that is expectedly considered. Okay, for a while. Stop the sharing. Okay. Okay. Now, how about for situations like acute? For acute, these are situations that is opposite of the palliative care. Okay, of the palliative drug. For palliative drug, it's end stage. For acute, it's the initial stage. So that's why for patients who could be critically ill, example, patient who had been diagnosed with cancer, then the patient may receive therapy. Kaya dyan na pumapasok yung radiotherapy, chemotherapy. So these are chemotherapeutic drugs na somehow will start immediately on the early stage. Pag end stage na siya, and it cannot be treated by conventional approach, that's palliative care because we are more on the symptom-based approach. Pero pag acute, these are drugs that are given specifically para hindi mag-cause ng worse condition. Pero critical yon kasi cancer. O the patient may have maybe suspecting of renal early stage of renal failure. So the patient could be advised to have the dialysis. So that's eventually the procedure. But for the drugs, patients may take those drugs on the early stage of a critical illnesses. So these are empiric, supportive, palliative, maintenance, supplemental, and acute. In therapeutic steps, we need to take into consideration assessment. We always ask uh, patient's preference, patient history, and in the implementation of this therapy, we need to consider the monitoring of effectiveness because again, as what I have reiterated, clinical decision making for nurses are very crucial because this may take risk of safety of the patient. And since we have emphasized that we are advocates of patient safety, then it's on our decision. It's in our hands on how they will definitely be engaged into pharmacotherapeutics. Now, other than with the pharmacotherapeutics, we are considering, next slide. Okay, there are various factors affecting pharmacotherapeutics. It's similar also to our discussion when the patient have actually reached yung sa kinetics. We have discussed, if you can still remember, what are those situations that will basically affect absorption of drug. So dito naman, what we're talking about is the same. What are those reasons or factors that will mainly cause yung hindrance of achieving the desired effect of the drug? So patient's disease or disorder. So for example, we are familiar that a patient must have a healthy kidney and healthy liver so that to facilitate the effective results of drug reactions. So if not, this may trigger the patient to toxic effect. Yung route of administration as well. So alam natin that site of administration is directly associated with the time as we are talking about with effect. On the patient's body size, we have mentioned about pharmacogenomics. We have also considered factors that obesity and underweight may really affect specifically the distribution of drugs. Do you know din po that the psychological and emotional stress can cause also factors that may affect pharmacotherapeutics? To what extent? Kasi psychological and emotional and even stress may release kasi uh, substances in the body that could be harmful and may cause constriction of blood vessel. So actually the adrenal glands may release cortisol in times of stress. At ang cortisol po kasi when it is released by the adrenal glands, it may cause constriction of blood vessels. So eventually that will mainly affect the distribution of drug via plasma. So we have discussed also about the drug tolerance and drug dependence because again, if we say drug tolerance, this may cause a possibility na mag-lead siya sa dependence because the patient as his preference kasi yung nagiging intervention. But again, we must take into consideration that if it will cause harm to the patient, then we must be vigilant. Kaya may tinatawag nga tayong pharmacovigilance. Ang pharmacovigilance is the study naman of mga adverse reactions. And later on, we'll have those discussions. Okay. There are some terms that are associated with pharmacotherapeutics. Okay, loading dose. Ito yung parang sabi ko rin sa inyo na ano po ang situation, yung degree of severity. When a person goes to the emergency room, a typical, for example, kung severe infection yung case ng pasyente, ang kasi kung severe na siya, makikita sa diagnostic exam, mataas talaga yung WBC. Then very obviously, when assessed, it's really a concern now with severe infection. Pag sinabi nating loading dose, usually one or more doses at the onset of therapy. So again, onset is at the start until maging regular dose na yung ibibigay. Kasi sa start, pwedeng for example, 500 milligrams yung regular dose pero at the start because of the condition of the patient of severe infection, then it could be one or more doses or double yung dose. So it means hindi naman natin ino-overdose yung pasyente but the certain condition is hinahabol talaga natin yung ma-prevent yung complications and even the infection may reach the circulation. So initially kailangan the highly concentrated drug can be managed accordingly para ma-prevent yung complication. So ito naman is the high yung concentration ng gamot, the greater chances na mag-reach agad siya sa therapeutic blood level. Okay? Next po. Other than the loading dose, there are terms such as drug efficacy. Ang drug efficacy from the term itself, efficacy is being used for effectiveness. Kaya pagka even during the time of if you encounter the time na of the early uh, campaign for the vaccination, may mga efficacy yang pinag-uusapan. Example, 'di ba, with the brand, we have talked about ano bang mas effective? Sinovac ba, Moderna, Pfizer. So, kasi the drug literature itself, kasi ginawa na yung clinical trial before pa dito sa atin inoffer yung mga vaccines, ginawa ng clinical trial yan sa ibang bansa. So that's why they already have the document. And thus, ang maximal effectiveness naman ng drug effectiveness is kung walang adverse reactions. So ano yung walang adverse reactions? If the patient reveal untoward vital signs or deviations in vital signs. So normal pa rin. Kung ang patient mo definitely doesn't have any drastic change in weight kasi alam po natin pag ang patient mo is continuously having fluid retention sa mga patients sa may kidney failure, cardiomegaly, pulmonary congestion, yung retention of fluid sa body na may measure yan pagka nagwo-worse yung condition if within the 24 hours there is a change in the sudden change in weight. So, kung ito naman ay na-sustain or na-maintain at yung symptoms niya ay nag-ease, then that's what we call maximal effectiveness or drug efficacy. Pag sinabi naman natin therapeutic drug levels, there are drugs that are only that its dose concentration can only be managed by the body. Kaya nga if the liver is having a hard time and difficulty to manage yung detoxification, doon na tayo magli-lead sa toxic effect. So ibig sabihin ba sir, meron tayong tinatawag na therapeutic level lang ng blood, therapeutic drug levels, at on the other hand, pag tumaas yan sa specific therapeutic drug level, ang tawag na doon toxic level na siya. Okay? At yung toxicity may lead to complications. Other than drug efficacy and drug therapeutic level, we have identified yung drug tolerance and drug dependence. So, sabi natin, yung drug tolerance, decrease yung response. Ibig sabihin yung patient by 500 milligrams, ay, decrease pa yung response. So, tataasan yung dose. Pero nagpo-produce lang din siya ng same response. So, ibig sabihin, sa perspective ng patient, he cannot anymore tolerate 500 milligrams, but he can tolerate 1 gram. Pero yung binibigay sa individual sa 500 milligrams, kung ano yung tolerance niya doon, mas napipil niya yung the same response, pero 1 gram na siya. Mas larger yung dose. So that's what we call tolerance. On the other hand, ang problem naman natin dun sa ganitong perspective of a larger dose, mag-increase na yung desire mo na 1 gram na lagi yung magiging preference mo for you to manage. Kasi may psychological ano din yan eh. May psychological implication din yan that the 1 gram is already the one that can manage a condition. Kaya nga, di ba, we have mentioned also with the dilemma ng placebo. Yung sa placebo, medyo ethical dilemma din to na you are not pushing the patient to drug dependence pero again anong nababiolate mo naman sa ethics, it's veracity. You're not telling the truth to the patient that you're not administering the right drug or the drug itself. So on the other hand, pag ang patient mo ay drug dependence, then sudden yung cessation, ang problem na naman natin diyan is magdi-display siya ng mga symptoms na should we say yung desire mo tapos biglang hininto, makikita mo yung body mo is having a difficult time to adjust and go back to its normal physiologic function. So ang tawag diyan ay withdrawal symptoms. So sa withdrawal symptoms usually ang patient mo pag nag-i-increase ang desire diyan at nagkaroon ng cessation, hahanapin mo 'yon. Then sweating, increased metabolic activity usually. So ang usual ano yan, nag-hypermetabolism yung pasyente. Ayan, usually sweating, nagdadiaphoresis ang pasyente, 'di ba laging hyperactive yung pasyente, tapos lack of appetite ang pasyente because the brain is not working to to increase the appetite or to decrease the appetite, certainly on a balance that when it's needed. Ang patient mo may manifest yung mga different mga mga weaknesses, body aches, and headaches na hindi naman siya particularly makakapag-identify on a certain type of diagnosis. Patient is sensitive to pain, irritable, and usually restless. At usually because of the increased neurotransmitters activation, patients are usually insomniac or can be deprived from sleep. So ito yung mga withdrawal symptoms by which kaya nga pag ang patient mo is already on drug dependence and addiction, the patient will undergo specifically na rehabilitation. And hoping soon that you will be exposed in the type of treatment or type of rehabilitation para aware tayo din as nurses how we will take part on the rehabilitation phase of patients who are engaged into situations of addiction and dependence. Okay? Now, ito po yung mga therapeutic serum medication level. Will not anymore go into details of this but use this as a reference. Kaya pag sinabi nating therapeutic serum medication level, so example, 'di ba we have discussed about gentamicin. Oh, okay, if you can still remember gentamicin. Gentamicin is particularly an antibiotic. Pag for you to check if the drug is still on the therapeutic range, nasa ano lang siya, 5 to 10 microgram per ml. Pag lumagpas na yan sa 10, that's already toxic level na. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, kailangan na mag-prepare ng antidotes. Okay? Another is acetaminophen. This is for pain relief. Okay? Analgesic ito. Pero ang Tylenol kasi, usually a drug that is safe for the liver pero again may therapeutic range din siya. So ibig sabihin dito natin ma-identify yung mga nag-overdose. Pag nag-overdose yung pasyente mo at nag-increase ng dose lalo na pagka yan, pag nag loading dose, pag merong problema with drug tolerance, i-check na yung therapeutic serum meaning blood level. Pag lumagpas na yan sa 20 yung acetaminophen, okay, stop. Let's stop and have an antidote kasi nasa toxic level na siya. Ang carbamazepine, phenobarbital, phenytoin, yan. Ito yung mga drug na ang gamot nito, ang purpose nito ay sa seizure. So mga anti-seizure drug ito. Okay? So anti-seizure drug kaya very particular tayo sa mga gamot na to kasi ito yung mga list of drugs na medyo high risk mag-lead sa toxic level. Kaya careful din kayo when you're administering drug for seizure kasi high risk sila for toxic effect. So other than that, ang digoxin is a drug for the heart na tingnan nyo yung level niya is 0.5 to 2 nanogram. Pag lumagpas na yan, 2.1, 2.5, 2.3, it's already toxic effect. Another is, ito po, yung lithium. Ang lithium po ay binibigay sa patients natin who may have mga psychological problems yan. So, very particular tayo dyan. And tulad ng magnesium sulfate are given sa mga patients na nag-hypertension during pregnancy. Okay? Kaya very particular din tayo in administration of the drug. Careful tayo kasi magkamali lang kayo talaga ng dosage, ng computation at administration ng dosage. High risk talaga itong mga gamot na ito for toxic effect. Lalo na itong magnesium sulfate, very careful yan. Hindi lang basta, kasi at first, when you administer the drug, hindi mo naman ipapacheck yung patient's serum level eh. You really need to be aware kung ano yung mga signs of toxic effect ng gamot at at eventually ano yung mga dapat i-check or i-assess before administering the drug. Example, ang magnesium sulfate, you need to check the deep tendon reflex. Okay? Ang deep tendon reflex, i-check mo. Pag walang response yan, then do not administer the drug. Kasi pwedeng mag-lead sa toxic effect. At ang pasyente mo ay ma-paralyze. So can you imagine that? It's a major effect of the drug if the nurse may not be knowledgeable in administration of the drug. So, ang salicylate naman, salicylates are ito yung mga aspirin. Kaya pag nakakadinig kayo ng ASA, acetyl salicylate acid. Pag salicylate, ito yung sa mga aspirin. So, we need to take into consideration lang din yung level niya kasi pag sumobra naman siya, instead of ma-prevent yung anticoagulant siya, ma-prevent yung clotting, magkukos siya ng bleeding. So these are example of drugs and hoping this could serve as your reference para at least we could consider as well how you will prepare antidotes already. So ibig sabihin these are already the list, hahanapin natin ng antidote. So on the other hand, the next slide is all about the antidotes. So kanina kung halimbawa yung antidote natin sa calcium sa magnesium sulfate, okay, nagsobra tayo dun sa nag-lead yan sa toxic effect. So yung antidotes naman, hanapin natin dito yung antidote. Ayun. So calcium gluconate yung antidote. Okay? Always have those drugs. So beta blocker, familiar kayo sa beta blocker, sinabi natin yan ha. Yung beta blocker naman po, sabi natin yung mga olol o pag nag-toxic effect naman yung olol, ang isa naman po sa particular na antidote dyan, glucagon. Okay? Para ma-counteract naman niya yung result ng beta blocker. Ano pa? Eto, calcium channel blocker. O, from the term itself, calcium, di ba? So, pag nag-toxicity ang calcium channel blockers, o di syempre, ang counter ano lang din niya, calcium. Okay? So, clear tayo ha. Calcium din ang magka-counteract as antidote. So, ano pa yung isa? Okay. Nag-toxic effect ng insulin. O, nag-toxic effect. Ang problema pag nag-toxic effect ng insulin, biglang bagsak ng biglang bagsak ng blood sugar. So, ano pang kontra mo? Glucose agad. Okay, glucose. Next, ano pa yung mga example dito? Ito, Comadin. Ito magkakasama to. Comadin at saka yung anticoagulant. Okay, pag sinabi nating anticoagulant, ito yung mga rin. Heparin, warfarin, aspirin. So, ang pangontra sa anticoagulants pag nag-lead sa toxic effect ay vitamin K. Okay, vitamin K. Okay. Alcohol withdrawal. Okay, ito yung mga may mga alcohol dependence, yung talagang they cannot anymore, umabot na talaga sa ganong situation. Ang drug po diyan, ang antidote po diyan ay Librium. Okay? Next po, pag acetaminophen. Okay. Ang acetaminophen, paracetamol, ayan, mga paracetamol toxicity, ang usually na antidote dyan ay N-acetylcysteine. Yung N-acetylcysteine po ay familiar kayo. Ito yung, I'm sorry, these are the drugs po na binibigay para uh, mag-cause ng liquefaction ng secretions. Ito ay binibigay during the COVID-19, yung sinasama siya sa water, diluted sa water so that to prevent production of secretions. So sa digoxin, sabi natin kanina, it's an antihypertensive drug and usually pagka nag-toxicity yan, ayan, the usually naman is pwede mag-cardiac arrest ang pasyente. So to counteract it, is we have Digiban. So dun sa therapeutic level, sana hoping you could consider its reference at ito po ay maging anyo nyo rin ito, maging reference nyo rin ito dahil eventually ito po ang makakapag-guide sa inyo whenever the patients are taking these drugs, okay? Are taking these drugs at kailangan po nating malaman ng antidote. So if you are already working in the hospital, you may have the medication station. Pwede kayo magkaroon ng reference na ganito. Lalong-lalo na yung therapeutic serum therapeutic level, tapos yung antidotes, these are usually posted sa mga emergency carts. Okay? Kaya example, iron. So yung mga iron-based ng perosulfate, nag-overdose ng perosulfate, nag-toxic, o ano nang pang antidote? Deperoxamine. Okay. So heparin, yung heparin these are given intravenously, protamine sulfate naman po ang antidote. So hoping you could be familiarized with this antidotes. Now, let's talk about now. We are already having last 15 minutes. So we miss already the health break. So we could just need to finish all of this para po we could already end up at 7 o'clock. So we have what we call adverse reactions. So again, if we say adverse reactions, these are unwanted, potentially harmful. Okay? So usually adverse reactions, there's a need for us to report this because it may lead to complications. So yung reporting of adverse reactions ay yan, pharmacovigilance ang tawag doon, yung study of all adverse reactions. So ano yung mga types of adverse reactions? ang types of adverse reaction is dose-related reactions. So pag dose-related reactions, simply these are yung mga ma-observe ninyo pag overdose. Okay? Reactions which is the primary secondary effect or overdose of the drug. Next is yung sensitivity-related reactions. Ano naman yung sensitivity-related reactions? Kung ang pasyente mo ay mayroong allergic reaction. So, pag allergic response, ito po yung mga reactions na dapat nating malaman ha. Ang pasyente mo yung mga immediate anaphylaxis. Ano yung anaphylaxis? Pag sinabi nating anaphylaxis, sabi ko sa inyo, di ba, ang histamine 1, pag nag-allergy, histamine 1, magko-close ang airway passages. Pag nag-close ang airway passages, hirap nang pumasok ang oxygen, ang tawag doon, anaphylaxis. Pagka pasyente mo ay nag-total, di ba yung parang inaasma na, inaasma na siya, ibig sabihin the air is not passing through because of the constriction of the airway passages, pwedeng mag-lead siya sa anaphylactic shock. At yun yung condition na pwedeng mag-respiratory arrest yung pasyente. Another is, another immediate na ma-observe ninyo other than difficulty of breathing or anaphylaxis is the patient may have urticaria. The urticaria is the type of rashes, yung rashes that usually appear sa mga patient with allergic reaction. Tapos, other than that, sa sensitivity-related reaction, yung kung walang lumalabas na difficulty of breathing, urticaria, pwede siyang matest sa blood. Okay? So, itetest yan through ang significant result dyan, mataas ang WBC, tapos titignan natin sa differential count specifically kung alin po ang makakapag-identify that the patient is having allergic reactions. Okay. Another is iatrogenic effect. Ano yung iatrogenic effect? Ang iatrogenic effect naman, ito naman yung reactions that mimic yung condition. Example ha, ang pasyente mo na nagte-take ng non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, ito yung mga ibuprofen, yan. Ibuprofen, naproxen, ito yung once you take, di ba nakakos yan ng irritation sa stomach? Pag you are not in full, you're not in full stomach, tinake mo yan ng walang laman ng tiyan mo, ay, ayan na, hahapdi yung sikmura mo, feeling mo, nagkakos na siya ng sobrang hyperacidity and ulceration. Ayun, ang tawag na dyan ay iatrogenic effect, na somehow yung reaction ng drug ay para nang umaabot sa situations ng pathologic or caused by disease. So particular tayo dyan sa pag ang pasyente mo, pag nag-take ng aspirin, pwedeng mag-lead dyan sa bleeding. Or somehow, pagka sa patients mo are taking NSAIDs such as ibuprofen, pwedeng mag-lead yan into bleeding and GI irritations. So, ayan. So, iatrogenic effect yon. So, tulad nung una, we have the if you can still remember, sabi natin, we have the dose-related reactions pag overdose, sensitivity-related reactions pag hypersensitivity. Ano yung immediate na dapat natin mako-consider as observation? The patient may have anaphylaxis, nahihirapan na siyang huminga, nagko-close yung airway passages. Urticaria is the type of rashes. So pagka iatrogenic effect, the term is mimic. Minimimic niya yung pathologic condition. When the patient is taking a drug, that the patient may have a manifestation na similar rather into a pathologic disease. So toxicity level, ito yung binanggit ko sa inyo, it's usually the reaction occurs when drug level exceeded therapeutic range. So ito usually overdosage, alam natin hepatic and renal impairment, at usually ang toxicity level pagka ang patient ay hindi definitely nabigyan ng maayos na health education, then possibly the patient is non-compliant and may lead to a possible overdosage. Okay, now let's have na the self-assessment exercises. Okay, for the self-assessment exercises, I expect everyone to respond in the chat box so that this could be very helpful as an interactive session. So let's start. The nurse administer a drug that increases heart rate. Okay, so mukhang we're talking about the sympathetic and parasympathetic. The nurse administer a drug that increases heart rate. The drug may be classified except sympathomimetic drug. Next, adrenergic agonist, anticholinergic, or acetylcholine enhancer. Again, you need to consider first, pag ganito yung question, yung increases heart rate. So pag increases ang heart rate, is it parasympathetic or sympathetic nervous system ang stimulation? So pag increase ang heart rate, it's sympathetic. Okay, ngayon, ang question goes, alin dito yung classification of drug that does not associate sa increased heart rate? Okay, letter A, letter B, letter C, or letter D. Please post your answers in the chat box. Again, the nurse administers a drug that increases heart rate. The drug may be classified except. So the clue that I have given is if there is increased heart rate, associate increased heart rate to sympathetic nervous system. So alin kaya dito yung classification that merely not associated with increased heart rate? So we have single response pa lang. How about the others? Okay. Please have the attempt. If you will assess yourselves, these are questions that possibly appeared in the board exam and you are facing the situation that you need to answer those questions. Okay, we have two responses among the 21 students. We have only two responses. How about the others? Two responses. Have the attempt. Have the attempt and be firm with your responses. Okay, we have three responses for. So please continue to have your responses. Okay, just continue. Okay, just continue. And we will have answers. Okay, 8 responses as well. Please continue. Please continue. Okay, continue. Okay. So it seems the majority of you have responded. Now, let us analyze. If we are considering increased heart rate as sympatomimetic, tignan natin dito, sympathetic siya. So, will A, B, C, and D, alin dito ang nagde-describe sa sympathetic? Letter A. Letter A is sympatomimetic. Ang sabi natin before, pag mimic, minimimic niya yung sympathetic response. So, ibig sabihin, this is a correct association sa increased heart rate. So, the answer is not letter A. Hinahanap natin yung maling classification. Letter B, adrenergic agonist. Okay. Di ba minention natin na ang sympathetic ay associated with adrenergic at ang adrenergic, ang agonist ay associated sa stimulate. So pag in-stimulate mo ang adrenergic, sympathetic response siya. Okay? So letter A or letter B is a right classification. So it's either letter C or letter D. So, for letter C, anticholinergic. So, ang cholinergic ay associated sa parasympathetic. Kinontra mo. Yung letter D, acetylcholine enhancer. Acetylcholine is associated with parasympathetic. Okay, now, kung ang sagot nyo ay letter C, tingnan natin ang mga sagot. Okay, kung ang sagot nyo ay letter C, anticholinergic, yung cholinergic is associated with parasympathetic, kinontra mo. So, naging sympathetic siya. So, ibig palang sabihin, letter A, letter B, letter C is associated with increased heart rate. Kuha ninyo. So, except answer, letter D. Why letter D? Kasi ang acetylcholine ay parasympathetic at in-enhance mo siya. So, in-stimulate mo. And we all know that the parasympathetic po, okay, the parasympathetic po mainly ay what? Decrease ang heart rate. Okay, for those who have answered letter D, congratulations. For the others, again, this session is a learning opportunity for us to learn. Okay? Next question. Next question. Try to have your answer so that this will be a training for all of you. The nurse explains a drug to the client that dilates the bronchi. Oh, dilates the bronchi. Next, what you will do now is ang dilation of bronchi ba ay parasympathetic or sympathetic? Sige, tignan natin. The drug may be classified as, ang kinahanap na natin dito, yung tamang classification ng drug that dilates the bronchi. Cholinergic antagonist, anti-adrenergic drug, parasympatomimetic, acetylcholine enhancer. Again, we are talking about dilation of the bronchi. Sa dilation of the bronchi, we're talking about sympathetic or parasympathetic. Okay, I'll just give you already the clue. The dilation of the bronchi is sympathetic. Now, all you have to do is to look for the choices. Alin dyan ang mag-identify for sympathetic response? Please post your answers now. I'm not seeing any response pa. So mukhang nagda-digest pa. Okay, sige. Okay, I have now seen a single answer. Please have your answers. Having assumptions that you're already taking the nurse licensure examination. Okay, good. 3 responses. So three brave students who have already posted their responses. Okay? Okay po. Let's see, let's see. Check. 5 answers. So 5 who have answers. Out of 20, we still have 15 students who are not responding. Okay, 7. Continue to post your responses, ha? To post your responses. Again, these are learning opportunities. Learning opportunities. Let's see. Okay, 10 responses, almost half. Where are the other 10 who are not responding? 11. Okay. Please continue to have your answers A, B, C, or D. So let's wait for the others. Where are the other 9? Okay, 12. Let's continue. Okay, 13. Okay, so it seems majority of the responses. So yung iba humabol ha. Okay, pag sinabi natin sympathetic, let's tingnan natin. Cholinergic antagonist. Cholinergic is parasympathetic. Kinontra mo yung cholinergic. Kinontra mo yung parasympathetic. Mukhang it seems letter A is the answer. Tingnan ko nga. Okay, nako, iba-iba ang sagot. Tignan natin ha. Mukhang iba-iba yung sagot. Tingnan natin ha. Tandaan ninyo, ang dilation of the bronchi ay sympathetic. O, tingnan mo ha. Tingnan natin yung letter B, letter C, letter D. Ang anti-adrenergic, you contradict the action of adrenergic. So, parasympathetic siya. Parasympatomimetic, minimik niya yung action ng parasympathetic. Minimik, ginaya. O di parasympathetic yan. Letter D, acetylcholine, associated siya sa parasympathetic. So, enhance mo. Letter B, letter C, letter D ay parasympathetic. And dilation of the bronchi ay sympathetic. So, it must be cholinergic antagonist kasi yung antagonist kumontra sa cholinergic kaya siya naging sympathetic. So, tingnan natin. Okay? For those who answered letter A, for those who answered letter A, congratulations. For those who missed the correct answer, learning opportunity, let's continue to learn pa the strategy. Next. Question. The nurse observes reactions that when drug level exceed the therapeutic range causing additional adverse effects. Ano kaya ito? Are we referring to dose-related? Sensitivity-related? Iatrogenic effect? Toxicity? The nurse observed reactions that occurs when drug level exceed the therapeutic range causing additional adverse effect. Oh. Additional adverse effect. So, ibig sabihin, it's just simply, it cause a serious, ayan na naman, ginamit na naman natin yung term, serious adverse effect. So, please post your answers now. Okay. See? Okay, 7 responses out of 20. Okay, good. 10 responses, almost half, 12. So, hoping we reach the majority of responses, 13. 14. Okay, good. Majority have responded. Okay. The answer is toxicity. 'Di ba? Tignan natin nga yung responses. Ayan ha. Uh, try to analyze. Pag sinabi nating dose related, we're considering overdosage. Okay? Pero since kung nag-exceed siya sa therapeutic, tandaan nyo, 'di ba, ang opposite ng therapeutic, toxic. That's why we have explained kanina na we have serum therapeutic range or level. Okay? So iatrogenic, minimimic niya yung pathologic disease. Sensitivity is hypersensitivity or allergic reaction sa drug. Dose related is either primary or secondary overdosage of drug. Okay? So, don't be don't be disappointed if you have wrong answers. These are still learning experiences. So, tandaan ninyo ha, take this seriously. These are questions that have been retrieved from foreign nurse licensure examinations ha. Next. Siyempre, I am also sad if you will not retrieve the correct answers. The nurse is aware that the physician ordered the administration of one or more dose at the onset of therapy. So, ibig sabihin, ito yung mga situation na the dose or rather the drug will be given because of situations that it is needed due to severity. Okay, level of severity. Is it referring to drug efficacy, loading dose? Is it therapeutic drug levels or drug dependence? The nurse is aware that the physician ordered the administration of one or more doses at the onset of the therapy kasi it's needed because of the severity of the condition of the patient. But again, it could be just only at the beginning, but it once it stabilizes, it will continue na yung regular dosage as indicated to the condition of the patient. Okay, so we have 4 responses. So, wag malungkot. Tignan natin kung everyone could get the correct answers. Dun sa mga nalulungkot, for those who have incorrect responses, then don't be afraid of learning. Don't be afraid of learning. So, okay, majority have responded. The answer is loading dose. So mag-message kung nakakuha ka na ng correct answer. I may not divulge your name, but the name you have a direct message. Okay, good. Okay, good. You have the correct answers. Okay. So for those, this is still a learning experience. So tingnan natin ha. Next. Next question. The nurse administer a drug that has a desired effect, ayan, on alleviating symptoms. So doon tayo ngayon sa pharmacotherapeutics. Alin dito specifically ang drug that ang point natin is alleviating? Oh, I'll give you a clue. Yung isa diyan observation. Yung isa diyan it's all for the to sustain. Yung isa diyan to alleviate, yung isa diyan to focus on the primary treatment of the drug kasi chronic illness na siya. Kailangan na ito yung ibigay. So, ang hinahanap natin ay may mga situation at the end stage of the end stage condition na hindi na siya na ma-manage of the conventional treatment but we are now considering the pharmacologic management to alleviate symptoms. So hoping everyone could have the answer. So tatlo pa lang yung sumasagot. This will be the last question because I promise it will end up at 7 o'clock. O 5. Oh, answer na dun sa mga hindi pa nagre-respond. Don't be sad. Don't be sad. Okay? Because I know you are preparing already for your dinner. So actually the self-assessment exercise for rights of medication are already open. So you can answer after this or you can answer later on or until tomorrow. Anyway, it may end up at to Friday at 5 o'clock. So okay, so let's see. Let's see. Aha. Aha. Mukhang nagbabari pa rin yung mga sagot ninyo ha. Okay. So the answer is palliative. Palliative. Okay, so may mga nag-sad face po ulit. Why palliative? Kasi empiric is for observation. Then mga yay. Mga yay. Well, supportive because this is on to sustain and maintenance is for the primary treatment of the chronic illness. Okay. So I think that's the last. Okay, that's the last because this will be covered in the next discussion that we will have. So let's stop.